Hi guys, Neil here. Thought today I might talk about shoes, and in particular the shoes that I'm currently using in my rotation for my running. Now, it's been a while since I've done a shoe review, but I've added a couple of new pairs of shoes to the rotation in the last couple of weeks to go with the older ones that I've been running in, and I thought now was an opportune time to talk about those shoes, give you my honest opinion on how I have found running in the shoes. Like I've said on this channel all the way through, that shoes are a personal choice. Just because what works for one runner doesn't mean it's going to work for another runner. So I'm a little bit particular when it comes to selecting shoes because of my dodgy knees, so I need to make sure that the shoes I'm selecting are well cushioned. I'm looking for something that's got a nice little stack height in the heel and still plenty of cushion underneath that forefoot area. Even though I used to be a heel striker and I feel like I'm now transitioning to more of a forefoot striker, but I still like to have that cushioning under there, just a little bit easier on the legs and a little bit easier on especially the knees. Now, there's so much technical data available online. I'm not going to go into all those details with these shoes that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, but what I will do when I'm talking about the shoes, I will pop up on screen that the website where you can go and find out any of that sort of technical data, and I'll also put the heel drop information up there as well, so that you can just see how much cushioning is in these shoes that I've selected to put into my rotation. All the technical jargon is great if that's what you're into, but for me, I want a shoe that is going to best service my running needs. So keep this in mind as I run through each of the shoes that I currently have in my rotation. I've selected these shoes because they had what I needed. Now, for a bit of disclosure, all of these shoes I have bought and have not been requested to provide the following reviews. What I will do is provide an honest assessment of how the shoes have performed for me. Okay, so let's launch into these shoes that I'm using, and if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll let you know how I go about sourcing the shoes to try and keep costs as low as possible. Hang on. How about we do that now, and then I'll talk about the shoes. Now, I'm not particular about having the latest model shoe. I'm quite happy to buy outdated models. They're normally cheaper, and in a lot of cases there's not a lot of variation from model to model in the shoe designs. Any of the newest shoes that I have in my rotation at the moment, I've sourced by finding the lowest cost online, or using Running Heroes to obtain discount vouchers for any number of outlets. Now, if you haven't heard about Running Heroes, it's totally free to join. You earn points on all your activities, and those points can be used to redeem vouchers at any number of sporting outlets or food, or I did notice there on the other day that bookings.com is offering some cash back as well for redeeming some points through Running Heroes. So if Running Heroes is in your area, check it out. They have challenges as well where you can win some really great prizes. I joined Running Heroes probably a couple of years ago, and I've redeemed a number of vouchers for running outlet shops, and it saves money. So anything to pinch a penny here or there, you know, it's well worth it. How Running Heroes works, for me, I link my Garmin Connect details to Running Heroes, and once the watch is uploaded to the Garmin software, then it automatically just goes straight across to Running Heroes, and depending on what sort of activity you do, determines how many points you earn, and then once you've earned enough points, then you can redeem a voucher. Now, I also subscribe to newsletters from big brands like Essex New Balance and Hoka and Nike, and you do get bombarded with all their information through their newsletters. From time to time they do have a big sale, and it can save you a lot of money. I know that in the last couple of days I got an email from Asics, and they were offering 30% off a whole range of items, including shoes and clothing, and in the past New Balance and Brooks and Nike have done the same things. If you don't mind getting all their paraphernalia, then it's well worth it to, you know, pick up some cheap gear. Also make sure too that you check out your local running stores, because to make sure, just to see if they have a similar type thing of newsletters or a mail out where they keep you up to date with what's happening in their store with sales or any other sort of information that they may have. You know, we need to try and support our local running shops as much as possible as well. So that's pretty much how I go about sourcing any pairs of new running shoes that I buy. So let's get into these shoes that I've been using. Now the first shoes I'm going to talk about are the Hoka Clifton 5s. I realise that this is a older model shoe. I think we're up to about the Clifton 7s version now. But I've had these shoes for a little while, and again, because they were an older model, I was able to buy them at a much reduced price. I got into Hoka's a couple of years ago when I came back after having the stress fracture in my leg, and I started using the Clifton ones. Really enjoyed running in the ones so much that I had two pairs, and each pair I ended up with over 1,000 kilometres on. I should try a pair of the Clifton 4s. Absolutely hated them. Just could not get comfortable in those shoes at all. They were firm. Running in them was just jarring, really hard going. Now, with the Clifton 5s as well, I really thought when I first started running in these, it's exactly the same as the 4s. But I must say that after about 200k in these shoes, they have softened up. I have come to like them. They're still not my favourite shoe in the rotation. In fact, they're probably at the bottom of the list. Did a long run in them today, 35k. Legs feel okay, so there's still plenty of life in the shoes. I'm up to about 600k in them. I'm not 100% sold on them. I just feel like that wearing these or running in these shoes, you've really got to work at it compared to some of the other shoes that I've got in the rotation. The shoes are still in great condition. There's a little bit of wear through the forefoot, and I'm obviously striking a little bit just here. You know, they're okay. There's probably another couple of 100k in those quite easily, but it's just starting to grate on me a little bit, I guess you could say. And would I buy the Cliftons again? Probably not. I think that if I was going to stick with the Hokas, I'd probably look at something like maybe the Rincons. So the next shoe in the rotation is the Asics GlideRides. Now I've had these for a few months and I'm up to 776k in these shoes, and they are still good. I'm still getting a lot of value out of these shoes. The only thing is that I did my midweek longish run in them this week. I think it was about 23k, and my legs felt a little bit trashed after that run. So I'm just thinking that the shoe's starting to get to its expiry date. This shoe has served me really well. I've run a marathon distance as part of my long run. I've done a 5k time trial in these shoes. I've done intervals in these shoes. Look, even though it's got 770 odd K on them, you know, I'm still going to keep them in the rotation because I think that there's still enough life in the shoes to run maybe 10 to 15k. Overall, this shoe has been fantastic. From day one when I put it on, you get that rocker motion of the shoe. You could really feel it. It just felt like it was propelling you forward, and running in them from day dot was bang on. You know, still in great condition. Surprisingly still a lot of tread on the bottom. It's just that they just feel a bit dead on the longer runs. Would I buy these shoes again? Absolutely. I must have been singing their praises pretty well because a couple of mates of mine have bought a pair of these as well, and the feedback from them has been that they love them. I love them. I'll definitely buy another pair at the right price. Okay guys, so the next shoe in the rotation is the New Balance 1080s version 10. I'm a bit lost for words with this shoe, to be honest, because it feels fantastic on the foot. It gives a great ride when you're running, but I've got an issue with my left foot on the outside. I get a pain there. It's like a pressure pain where it's pushing in on my foot there. Now, don't have any issues on the right side. I have sparingly ran in this shoe. I did do an 18k run first up in the shoe. Since then I've had some shorter runs, and in the last week I've done a couple. I actually did the progressive run last week in this shoe and performed fantastic. Then did another run in this shoe on Friday, just gone, and just had that issue with the left foot again. Look, it's only there for probably, let's say 10 or 15 minutes. It is uncomfortable till it does sort of go away. But I really, really, really want to like this shoe. It's got a nice feel to it when you put your foot into it. It's like putting your hand into a glove. It wraps around the top of your foot, laces up really well. It's really nice and snug in here. The gusseted tongue, I think I said in the initial first impression that everyone raves about it. I wasn't sold either way, but having run a couple of times in the shoe, can certainly feel the benefits of it now. It's just that left foot issue that I've got a problem with. If I can get the foot used to it, this shoe is going to get a lot of use. The fresh foam in the shoe, everyone raves about the plushness of the ride. Haven't really experienced that great plushness. It's a soft ride. I wouldn't say it's a plush ride for me particularly, but I love running in the shoe as well. It's just that foot issue. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be probably running more in this shoe to get used to it, because I want to run in this shoe a lot more. Much like the GlideRide, I'll probably use it for intervals, time trial, and through the long runs. Now, would I buy this shoe again? I don't know. It all depends. Like if this foot issue stays, then probably not. If it sort of works itself out, maybe I will. And just on a side note too, because I had a pair of the New Balance 1500s a couple of years ago that I ran a marathon in, and I had well and truly broken those shoes in, but after the marathon my legs were trashed and my feet, and thinking back now, I think it was the left foot. There was a real problem. So maybe it's just my foot and the New Balances, but I'll keep you up to date on what happens with that going forward. All right, so the last shoe in my rotation at the moment is the Asics Novablast, and this is the Tokyo edition. I tell you what, you're not going to get lost in these shoes. Have a look at the colour of them. Wow, pretty bright. I've only had one run in these shoes, so I can't really say too much about them, except I love them. They're fantastic. I think I did 12K in these shoes and finished, and wouldn't have blown a match out. I've just felt so easy in them. In fact, they were better to run in than the GlideRides now, and I'm a massive fan of the GlideRides, but this shoe was beautiful to run in. Like the New Balance, it fits my foot perfectly, and I had no issues in the first run. I didn't even have that hotness underneath the balls of my feet like I do with most new shoes. This was just perfect, and I can't wait to run in this shoe again. It's a comfortable ride, it's soft, it's got more plushness, I believe, than the New Balance. Yeah, this is a bang-on shoe. Well done, Essex. I'm really looking forward to running more Ks in this one. All right, so that's the shoe rotation, guys. That's what I'm running in at the moment. I talked a little bit earlier on about how I go about sourcing the shoes. I did get an email from, I think, the Running Warehouse a few days ago, and they were plugging the release of the Saucony and what is it, the Endorphin Pro and the Asics Meta Racer. Would love to try those shoes, but my God, $320 for the Saucony and $280 for the Meta Racer. I just can't justify paying $600 for two pairs of shoes. So as much as I would love to get one or even both of those shoes, I'm just going to have to wait. All right, so I hope that hasn't gone on for too long, guys. Again, it's just my personal opinion on those shoes. It's how those shoes feel for me. Oh, I forgot to mention, would I buy this shoe again? Absolutely, absolutely. They're actually on special with that 30% off at Asics at the moment, so I'm thinking that I'll jump in and buy another pair. All right, guys, that's about it. So I hope I didn't bore you silly about talking about these shoes, but I just thought it was a good opportunity to talk about the shoes now, but I've added a few more. All right, guys, that's about it. I've banged on for way too long again. Stay safe, happy running, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hooroo.